negative one.
Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover Generation 2 Air Raid. Air Raid is part of the aerial bots from the Autobot side. And Air Raid here is fashioned in this really kind of hyper blue color. It's a very nice color of blue. It's not exactly a dark blue, but it's not exactly a light blue. It's kind of an in-between. As you can tell, he's got a lot of really cool, like, kind of in the, maybe you have Spider-Man kind of red going on here. It's kind of crazy. The reason I say Spider-Man is because if you look at the decals he has, they're little webs, which is kind of cool. I really like this. Something about Generation 2 was just always amazing with the decal designs. It's got a nice number 2 thrown on there. He does have a little bit of a loose wing here, but that just happens over time with some of these guys. You can kind of push him up a little bit. If you want to know what kind of jet he is an F-15 Eagle. If the Seekers were going to be combiners back in Generation 1, this is pretty much what the mold would have been, especially if they stuck with the F-15 Eagle style. Would have been kind of cool to actually see that. Yeah, I don't know, maybe one day I'll run across a bunch of aerial bots and I can turn those into Seekers. I don't know. I don't have them, but you know, it'd be nice if I can just get hold of a set. Knockoffs would be preferable. But taking a quick look at him, his nose is kind of sticking up a little bit. I don't know if the nose has been twisted or what. Kind of funny, but that's okay. The nose is kind of a rubbery type of material. That's just something that they did with Generation 1 and Generation 2. This is literally the same mold as Generation 1. There's no differences here. He happens to be the only one I do not have his tiny little weapon to. Unfortunately, I'm still trying to source one. But I do like him. He's got a lot of really cool detail. Just the panel lining and everything going throughout it, it really does invoke a F-15 Strike Eagle. I've always been a big fan of aircraft because, well, you know, you guys know me and know my history. I was in the Air Force, so unfortunately I never got a chance to actually work on the F-15, but hey, it's still a gnarly plane and still very useful even to today's standards. Military plane aside, this does look more like a stunt plane. It's kind of invoking that Blue Angels type of thing. I do like it because of that. I like the idea that, you know, this kind of steps outside the military side and just kind of gives you a bit of a stunt vibe. And I do like that. I was always a big fan of the Generation 2 combiners, mainly because their color schemes were completely different than everything else. They just popped. They look great on a shelf, and I just love them. Let's take a quick look at the underside, which is, you know, primarily just a jet. To find out that if he is authentic, you will have a Autobot symbol there, the Generation 2 one, along with Autobot just stamped there. This is a tampograph, so sometimes these rub off over time. As you can tell right here, a little bit of the Autobot emblem here is kind of a little messed up, mainly because of the way it lands on the paneling, but I haven't had any chipping on this one. And the fact that all these decals, by the way, are pre-applied from the factory. There is no sticker sheets for these guys. So if you're out there trying to source a set of these and you don't have, you know, access to the stickers, well, going to have to rely on either A, good scans of these, or B, there's a guy out there I know that does Generation 2 stickers, and he's located in Australia. I did a huge video way back about this guy. I don't know if he has the aerial bots or not. I didn't really look. I know he's on eBay, so you can just look him up on eBay. But anyway, enough of that rambling. Let's go ahead and get into transforming him. He has a very simple transformation. You'll take the tail portion here and lift it up, and then just kind of bring it up like so. And then you'll extend the body, which is kind of stiff on mine, but you know, obviously for reasons, because these things are pretty old. Bring this up all the way, and then take the tail fins. And I tend to just kind of rest the rear tail fins on the wings, just like that. And then I will take the nose cone part. Can't see what I'm doing there. Oh, forgot to mention, he does have retractable landing gear on the nose cone only. The back ones do not retract. But you'll take this and just kind of shimmy it back. It's kind of hard to do sometimes. And then bring it all the way back, just like so. And then you got these little portions here that will come out, and that there forms his arms. And we'll lift up on him. There we go. And then there you go. These do have ability to rotate because they are little tiny ball joints that are in here. Kind of hard to do. I don't tend to do this much with these guys because I don't want to risk breaking their arms. I probably just need to go through and loosen this screw, because there's a set of screws here on the front. But if you loosen those up, you can get in there and kind of, you know, loosen things up to make things move around a little easier if you have to. Aerial bots are pretty easy to get into. They're not a difficult toy to have to do any kind of, you know, slight modifications to, mainly because you don't really want to stress these joints. These joints here are usually the joints that break a lot on them. Other than that, the nose cone portion, just a heads up, by the way, he is a fantastic looking robot. He really is. I'm a big fan of the aerial bots, always have been, and I like his face. It's pretty neat. The chests on these are die-cast metal. The rest of the whole thing is plastic. Yeah, it follows the same formula that the Generation 1s were. I don't have any G1s because I got rid of G1 a long time ago. But what I do have is a flip changer. Bring in my custom version of my ramjet. That gives you a bit of a size comparison whenever it comes to the style. Now, you're wondering, why am I using this? These were slotted for Generation 2, but never did come out. But kind of gives you a bit of a comparison of what these guys would have looked like on the shelf if they would have come out together. And quickly put him back into jet mode. He's not really hard to do. I'm a huge fan of aerial bots. I just always have been. I'm really biased because of that. But sometimes whenever you're transforming them back, the arms tend to catch here on the back wing. So either have it all the way straight or kind of cantered like that. That'll help, especially whenever it comes to putting them back together. But I wanted to show you guys how big these guys are compared to the flip jets and compared to cyber jets. Because everybody's like, well, these guys are tiny. Well, not really. Flip jets are pretty easy. You know, obviously, you get to play around with some transformers here. Flip jets actually have a landing gear as well. And they get a landing gear down here too. But this kind of gives you a bit of a comparison. Size-wise, they would have really measured up. Like, looking at the flip jet compared to an aerial bot, the flip jet's actually a little shorter, which is kind of funny. Now, something a little more of a comparison that's a little easier to get hold of. It's one of the Cyberjets. This is Jetfire in the Generation 2 version, which he is a Decepticon, by the way. But he's even shorter. And this is based on a prototype. This really wasn't... It looks like an F-22, but it's more of a MiG style. So it's kind of funny. This is more of a, Russian style plane. But, kind of gives you a bit of an idea. I do have his wings stuck out so that way you can see exactly how far it goes. But, it really kind of shows you how big the aerial bots really were compared to other jets of its same size classification. There are the Sky Scorchers, which I'll be right back. Looking at Eagle Eye compared to him, Eagle Eye is even shorter. Kind of funny because the Sky Scorchers are really supposed to have been one of the adversaries for any type of aerial things in the comic books. These guys were seen in the G2 comic books in the UK quite a bit, so it's kind of cool seeing a bit of a lineup here of jets from the same era. And it kind of really shows you exactly how big aerial bots really are. They are a lot bigger than what most people would remember them being. I think they're fantastic. I think they fit in just fine. But, we're here to talk about good old Air Raid. Air Raid is amazing. He is such a cool little guy. Such a simple transformation. There's just something about the joy of being able to take this guy and turn him into a robot within a few seconds and not have to spend half an hour trying to figure that out. Is it big on articulation? No. By the way, you can push these two together. It makes kind of like a little jet on his back. But, it's just the charm behind it. I do like that about the aerial bots. Look, quick size comparison next to Merman. Which Merman's pretty short. And then our standardized little reflective bot. And you can tell they're about the same height. If you count the nose cone. But, they're pretty neat. And these guys here are combiners too. So, combiners win. That's how it goes. But this is a quick look at Air Raid. Just tune in later. I'll end up showing you guys another one. I'll see you around. This has been Plasticon. This is me, signing off. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you around. That's it for now. Bye.